I went to Lancaster University, studied at the management school there, doing basically like a generic business studies degree for my undergraduate. I really enjoyed it and carried on to do some postgraduate study in organisational behaviour and psychology with a bit of philosophy thrown in the mix as well. I did a work placement working at GlaxoSmithKline in London for a year. When I was there, I was in the L&D part of the business. I just came into this role working up in the Midlands as a learning technologist, so a bit of a jack of all trades. I wanted to focus in on being a learning designer, so I applied for the role at Brightwave as a learning designer. An instructional designer or a learning designer is somebody that can understand what a client really wants when they're not telling you what they really want. It's somebody that can read between the lines of a client's stated needs and work out a good design for what they actually need and the behavioural change that they need to make in the organisation. It's somebody that can take design inspiration from anywhere and build it into a really engaging piece of courseware or a learning experience. Nothing pleases me more than when there's a great idea that we can borrow from a game, or we can borrow from a website or some other digital experience and work it into a piece of learning for the benefit of the end user. Very often we deal with subjects that are related to stuff people wouldn't by choice be reading about, whether that's compliance and risk and all the stuff that makes up their day that they have to know, they have to do, but it isn't necessarily always that interesting. And so we have to get it across in a way that does make it interesting and that makes it emotive and that makes it memorable. We all know that people relate to and remember stories better than just facts and figures and just information. So this is a course we made for Bupa, and it's aimed internally at their staff. They've got about 80,000 staff, and the idea is that they want to raise the profile of dementia as a condition within the organisation. We designed the course to both inform and to provide an emotional hook. So the idea is that through some information and learning about the condition, people will then find out about their own risks, they'll find out about how dementia affects people, and basically we wanted to get across what it's like for somebody affected by the condition. So we've got a lot of first-person testimonies, we've got a lot of character studies, a lot of quite emotional content. This is the main menu. It's a scrolling menu, so we use big images and we tried to keep the text quite small, so it's very inviting. And the real showpiece of the course is a video we shot up in Doncaster with a guy called Trevor and his wife Anne. Trevor has vascular dementia. He's had it for about 7 years, and we just wanted to show what his life is like. We wanted to get him on camera talking about how he feels very lucky that he's got people around him to support him, and that there are unfortunately many people out there who don't have that level of support and whose lives are much sadder than his own because of not having that support. It's quite an emotional piece, and we're really proud of it. I think it's also a very beautiful piece. It's shot very well.
I'm very fortunate. I've got a good wife, so I'm one of the lucky ones. But it must be a nightmare for people that haven't got that sort of help. Put a little happiness back in someone's life. If you know that that person's got dementia, what can you do to make their life a little bit easier? A knock on the door, a little smile from you, it can pick them up. That's all it needs.
People then get involved and they can pledge to either be an advocate, they can just pledge quite simply to be kind. That's about donating some of their time to somebody living with dementia. They can volunteer with a dementia-related organisation, or they can pledge to raise funds. And of course they can also pledge something of their own, which might mean something in particular to them. Ultimately, when people have committed to making a pledge, they get a big thank you, and then they can download a help pack. We make bespoke solutions for people to get organisational change, to have really tangible organisational benefits. And when we have that really great communication and we have that great relationship with the client, they understand that what we're doing is something really valuable for them, and we're doing it because of our great experience. I've done hundreds of courses now. I know what works and what doesn't work, generally speaking. I think it comes down to having memorable experiences, having experiences that they love and they feel an emotional connection to. And so making those things is, in my opinion, more of an art than a science.
I learned something.